I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Yo, what's up? Hope you're all having a nice Thursday day and night. I'm 3-0. Won all three of my bets. I am currently sweating a Lakers-Bucks under, which is in pretty good shape. By no means is it one, but it's in very good shape. I also have a flyer on UNC Wilmington money line, the big plus number. I think I got plus 900 or plus 910 or something, and that's a close one. So yeah, I'm having a great Thursday. Things have been going well for me recently. As far as this one, I'm just gonna run through the NBA real quick. I don't know how this is gonna. This is probably gonna be pretty tough to do. Just gonna try to keep it on the screen as we're going. So first up is Orlando, Washington. I do have a bet in this game, and I'll go ahead and put my bet on the screen. I think the number is gone. 1 second. So the bet I placed in this game is the under. I got it at 217. I guess it's at 215.5 now. Is it really? You can still get 216s. It looks like you can still get a 216.5 here if you look. 1 second. Let's see when that moved. Yeah, I definitely got it at 217. 1 sec. All right. Bear with me on the formatting here. I don't do this very often, the sharing my screen. So this is MGM. Looks like it's always been 215.5. What about FanDuel? So yeah, okay. This is when must have been when I got it. It was at 217 earlier, 6:45 Eastern time. 216.5 you can still get on FanDuel. As far as the reasoning for it, it's just a lot of numbers pointing towards an under here. Last 10 games, the Wizards 28th in offensive efficiency. I mean, you don't need me to tell you the Wizards are a bad offensive team. They have been all year. They're actually the worst offensive team in the NBA this year. They're 30th. Check this out. Orlando against bad offenses, 7-20 to the under. Let's go over to our trends to offenses. Orlando versus offenses. Against the bottom 10 offenses in the NBA, 15-12 against the spread, 7-20 to the under. Against the bottom 5, 4-9 to the under. They've also been successful in terms of covering. So that's a lean towards Orlando and the under. So let's go ahead, dock the Wizards. A point there, 1.5 for that. All right, you should be able to see that on the screen. But also in this same graphic, check this out. Orlando, slow pace. Look at the Wizards against slow-paced teams. Watch. Wizards versus pace against slow-paced teams. Bottom 5 in pace, 1-9 to the under. Bottom 10 in pace, 8-15 to the under. So Orlando against bad offenses always goes under. The Wizards against slow-paced teams always go under. So we'll Washington versus slow. Minus a half point on each side for that. And then also, speaking of the pace, because you might be thinking, Kyle, how can you take under at such a low number in a Wizards game? Because the Wizards run a fast pace. Look at this. In the last 10 games, they're 6th in pace, 3rd in the last 5. How can you take an under I got 217 at such a low number in a Wizards game? Well, check this out. Orlando, when they see fast-paced teams, let's go Orlando versus pace. Against the top 10 teams in pace in the NBA, they're actually just 9-14 against the spread. They're more profitable against slow-paced teams. But look at the total. 8-16 to the under against the 10 fastest teams in the NBA. So when Orlando plays fast-paced teams, it tends to go under the total. So let's add more. Orlando versus fast. We'll dock a half point on each side for that. And, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them. There's a ton. that point towards an under here, right here. Look at this. So Washington, bad defensive rebounding team. They're 27th in the last 10 games. Look at Orlando against bad defensive rebounding teams. Now, this one's thin. Orlando against bad defensive rebounding teams. But check it out. It's actually crazy. Orlando against defensive rebounding. Against the bottom 10 defensive rebounding teams, 6-18 to the under. 1-10 to the under against the bottom 5. So there's just so many. Real quick. I'll just put another half point here. So there's just so many patterns pointing towards an under here. Orlando seems to slow the pace down when they play these fast-paced teams. Let's see where I have it at now. We'll see when the score updates. Looks like I have it at, what, 114.5, 115. So maybe there's still some value. I'm sorry, 215. So the total is 216.5. We have it 215. So no, not any value left here. When I did it before, I have it. There was other things pointing towards an under too. I could show you against teams that run the pick and roll. For example, 1-9 to the under. Washington runs a pick and roll. I feel like you guys aren't able to see what I'm talking about. This format might not work. I feel like you guys aren't following what I'm saying. I got to figure out a better way to do this. All right, well, I like the under in that. We'll go through the games regardless, but I got to figure out a different way to do this. But yeah, I like the under in the Magic. Houston, Miami. I feel like I have so many things on the screen that it's like hard to portray what I'm thinking onto the stream. All right, Rockets Heat. I bet this one as well. Got the Rockets at 5. Well, actually, I have a Houston -4 ticket and a Houston -5 ticket. So I got the Rockets at 4 and 5. So real quick, I can show you why pretty simply. Obviously, Houston's been much better, right? You don't need me to tell you that. Miami's what? They're like 0-9 or something. Actually, let me just go look. Wait for it to load. Miami 1-9 in their last 10 games, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5, 0-5 straight up. Miami can't stop losing. Houston can't stop winning. But it's not just that. Check this out. What do we know the Rockets to be good at? Rebounding. They're probably the best rebounding team in the NBA. In the last 10 games, they're first in offensive rebounding rate, 4th in defensive rebounding rate. And check this out. Look what happens when the Miami Heat play good rebounding teams. Here we go. Miami Heat versus rebounding. Against the top 10 offensive rebounding teams, 8-15 against the spread. Against the top 10 defensive rebounding teams, 5-19 against the spread. So if you've been blindly fading the Miami Heat every time they see a good rebounding team, you are swimming in money this year. So right off the bat, we have a Rockets team that's playing pretty well against a Heat team that's not, and then you add on the fact. So what I did for this one is I did 1.5 to Houston. You know what? Make it 1. A 3-point swing is crazy. Put on the point on the Houston side. Take a point off the Miami side. Amen Thompson might be back as well. Who else we got here? You know what? Pulled the injuries. Cam Whitmore probably not playing. Eason. That's probably what we got, right? I have the rotations right here. I can look. So let's go Rockets. We got Thompson, who's listed as probable. Green, Brooks, Şengün, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, probably not going to see minutes. Aaron Holiday, you will probably see minutes. Steven Adams. Jeff Green might not see minutes. He might be the odd man out now that... All right, let's take Jeff Green out. On the Heat side... All right, we got Tyler Hero, Bam. Wiggins is listed as questionable, but we'll put him in. Jovic is still out. Duncan Robinson, Rozier, Davion Mitchell, Ware. No Drew Smith, Hawkes, no Josh Richardson. Burks is going to play. Kyle Anderson, yeah, he's seeing some minutes. Let's see, that's 11. That's enough. So that puts us at Houston at -6.5. So I got a -4 and a -5. You don't need me to do this for every single bet, but just to give you an idea, if you can get a 5 and you think it should be, 6.5, 0.9 units value. So yeah, I'm on the Rockets -4 and Rockets -5. At 5.5, might want to hang out. I probably would still play it, but anything below 6. Philadelphia, San Antonio. This is a weird one. No guest today. Nah, I mean, it was. I could have brought toast on, and we could have went through the March Madness games for tomorrow, but it would have been only toasts, and I'm not a big college basketball guy, so it would have been pretty much him talking for 45 straight minutes, and then we wake up and do it again in the morning with Scoop, so it seemed easier to just say screw it, and I'll just talk about some NBA. Next up is Sixers Spurs, and I think this number is still big. It's moving towards the Spurs. The challenge here is trying to figure out who's going to be playing for Philadelphia. So there's no Maxey, there's no Oubre, there's no George, there's no Embiid, there's no McCain. You got Grimes playing, you got Yabusele playing, Justin Edwards is playing, no Eric Gordon. It's crazy. I think Lonnie Walker's coming back for the Sixers. Ricky Council. Is Drummond playing? No, Drummond's ruled out. Brissett's going to play. Bona's ruled out. Butler's going to play, right? Yep. Doughton. How many is that? That's 8. Alex Reese, I think, is getting minutes as well. So you can't even see it. That's how far down he is. On the Spurs side, no Fox, no Wembanyama, Vassell, Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, Castle, Sohan, Keldon, Champagne. Is Biyombo playing? He's been playing, right? Yeah, he's seeing minutes. Bassey's been hurt. Sandro, that guy's playing. Yep. Bam, bam. So that is 9. We can rock with a 9-person rotation. It says they have 10 here, though. Who am I missing? I'm missing some. Oh, Blake Wesley is seeing minutes. All right, so where does that put us? Oh, let's get rid of the rebounding adjustment. See, that puts us right. Okay, so that puts it at Spurs -6.5. So that's actually kind of close, slightly towards San Antonio. I think this is crazy low. Like, this is not even close. And this is where I don't trust my model nearly as much as the totals, as much with the totals as I do as the sides. And the reason for that is, there's going to be so much three-point shooting. Neither team can defend the three-point shot. Philadelphia's 26th in defensive efficiency against the three-point shot in the last 10. San Antonio's 29th. So you got two teams that are shooting a lot of threes against two teams that can't stop the three-point line. So I don't know. I would go under probably because it's crazy, and I just don't think there's enough offensive talent on the floor to put up that big of a number, but there's no shot. I bet this. I kind of want to bet the Sixers if I'm being honest. Why is this up here? Why isn't this updated? That's weird. It still says Heat up there. I don't know. That was supposed to update. Whatever. Let's move on to the next one. So Kyle, it's pretty cool when you're by yourself because you teach as you go. I mean, I'm trying. It's not the easiest. I feel like it's probably kind of boring because I can't. It's hard to visualize while I'm looking at things what is also being displayed on the screen. So I feel like sometimes I'm saying something and I'm like, they probably have no idea what I'm talking about. We don't even have to. I don't even need a spreadsheet for this one. We just talked about this game. This game just happened, and if you remember, I wanted to take New Orleans money line. What are the Pelicans? I'm going to give the same exact spiel I gave the other day. What is the Pelicans' two biggest weaknesses this year? Number one, defensive rebounding. They're terrible. Anybody that can grab offensive rebounds, you bet them against the Pelicans. Number two, defense in transition. Can't defend the fast break. Minnesota does neither of those things. They have no offensive. You know what? I'll just show you. Let me take a second. So right here. Here's Pelicans. Terrible defensive rebounding. Blah, blah, blah. Terrible. But if you look, actually Minnesota's starting to come around on the offensive glass. So maybe what I said the other day, they must have had a really good offensive rebound. I'm actually going to check that out. They have a really good offensive rebounding. A couple good rebounding days. Not really. Why did those numbers change so dramatically? But regardless, we're still talking about a Pelicans defense that's terrible in transition, 30th. Against a Minnesota offense that doesn't run in transition, 30th. So Minnesota's just not the team to exploit what the Pelicans' weaknesses are. The problem is there's such a difference in talent here. There's no Trey Murphy. We got McCollum, Zion, Misi, Alvarado. No Noel. He's not there anymore. Hawkins, Bruce Brown, Olynyk, Makovic, Robinson, Earl, Mo Bamba. That is 10. And then Minnesota's got everybody. Or let me just make sure. Yep. Doesn't seem like anyone's hurt. So you can just go down the list and take everyone, not him. I think that's their rotation right there. And that puts us at, when it load, before we add any matchups in, I mean, it's still loading. So that puts us at 16 before we add anything in. Now we can add stuff in like no transition. Take away 2 points for the Timberwolves, right? Also, no offensive rebounds. Take away another point, or maybe we'll take a half point and we'll put a point over here. And then also the other thing I liked for the Pelicans was we know Minnesota launches these threes, right? In the last 10 games, they're second in the NBA in three-point frequency, second in efficiency. Three-point shooting is the most important part of this Timberwolves offense, and it has been all year. Why am I bringing this up? I mean, Pelicans have some pretty bad-looking numbers against the three-point shot, but check this out. Against teams that shoot threes, the Pelicans, I don't even know how this makes sense because their defense has pretty bad numbers against the three-point shot, but it's very clear that the Pelicans are much more profitable against teams that shoot threes. Against teams that don't shoot threes, look at this. Against the bottom 5 in three-point frequency, 2-10 against the spread, 1-11 straight up, 7-16 against the spread against the bottom 10. So against teams that don't shoot threes, that's who the Pelicans aren't covering against. When they play these teams that do shoot threes, they've actually got a decent, 14-10 against the number against the top 10. So you look at the matchup and it's like, oh my God, Timberwolves are going to shoot threes on the Pelicans. And yeah, probably, but the truth is that's not what the result shows for the year. So if I want to go, because we'll take a half point there. But what I'm saying, the point I was making is, even if I make those adjustments here, right? I still have this at, 13? It's still at, it's still loading. What's it going to be? 12.5? This is exactly where I had the other day, 12.5. So I still have it at 12.5. So is it even worth a bet? What's it at? 13.5, 14. It's at 14 now? Let me check this out. This is Odds Logic, by the way, for those of you asking which ones I use. What I like about Odds Logic is the quick. Like, you click on any one. Watch this. Oh, wrong one. Sorry about that. So what I like about Odds Logic is, so let's say I click on, where I'm at. We'll click on FanDuel. You can see FanDuel opened at 14 and hasn't moved. But you click on BetMGM. So you got 13.5 minus 105. You can quickly see every single book, which is awesome. Caesars, 13.5, moved up to 14 and 10.44. So it's 14. Yeah, just like I said the other day, it would be Pelicans. I didn't have the nuts to do it the first time. Still don't. And obviously Minnesota's going to come out motivated, having just lost to these guys. So this is not one of the bets I have. Charlotte, Oklahoma City. You know what? I don't even want to talk about this one. Let's just skip it. It's crazy. When I plugged it into the model, I have it at 26.5. So I don't know. Pistons Mavericks, interesting one. I kind of think it stays under the total, but it's just crazy to say because these two teams run a very fast pace. So considering an under is kind of crazy, but I do think this one stays under. This is Detroit. let's get rid of all this. Real quick, let's do the rotations. Cade, Tobias, no Ivy, Duran, Beasley, Schroeder, Thompson, Stewart, Fontecchio, Holland. I think that's it. Is that 10? Yep, that's 10. On the Dallas side, nope. He's playing. Nope. He's playing. He's out. Playing. Pretty sure that's Dallas' current rotation right there. Yeah. So that puts us at, what, 5.5 here? 5.5, 6 for the Pistons. But check this out. This is why I think it goes under the total. So what has Detroit been doing during this hot streak? Really two things on the offensive side of the ball. Number one, attacking the paint. And they're going to get whatever they want down here. I mean, Dallas can't protect the basket. So Detroit's going to score on Dallas in the paint. That's going to happen. But when you're scoring in the paint, you are counting by twos. That's number one. Number two, usually you set up a possession. You're going to have to set up in the half court. The reason I'm saying that, what I just said didn't make sense. It's about to. Check this out. Detroit also runs in the fast break, third in transition frequency. And during this hot streak, they've been running a particularly strong amount of fast breaks. They're running, this Detroit team. Look who happens to be one of the best fast break defenses in the NBA. It's the Dallas Mavericks. And you might be thinking, oh, that's probably from earlier in the season before they got hurt. No, they're playing arguably the best defense in the NBA against fast breaks right now. You can't run on this Mavericks team. Now, you can beat the shit out of them in the half court, but you can't run on them. And if Detroit, if you take away the fast breaks, force them to set up in the half court, again, they could still get to the rim and score. I'm not saying bet Dallas. I'm just saying 235.5 is a big number, especially considering on the other side of the ball, you got a Mavericks offense that's attacking the interior, taking shots in the paint. No one's scoring on Detroit in the paint. They're first in defensive efficiency in the paint in the last 10 games. So on top of what I just said about the Mavericks taking away the fast break from Detroit, you got a Mavericks offense that's really going to struggle to score here. And something about so why not just bet Detroit, right? Why wouldn't I just bet Detroit? Why wouldn't I bet Dallas team total under? This is going to catch up with the Pistons at some point, guys. Like, you cannot just rock with a 27th strength of schedule forever. Like, eventually, I mean, they haven't even been covering like that. The Pistons are 5-4-1 against the number. I mean, we go down to the Pistons. This is the Pistons here. Look at this. You got this red hot streak, right? Win. Look at recently. There's a lot of red in here with the Pistons. They're playing well. They haven't been nearly as good as perceived. And look at the opponents. Yeah, you got Oklahoma City in there. Who sat out in that game? No. They had Oklahoma City at full strength, too, but it was on a back-to-back. You got the Pelicans. You got the Heat. You got the Wizards twice. Portland's solid. They've been playing well. Golden State, all right. Clippers, Jazz, Nets. I mean, you got a lot of bad teams in here. So I'm not laying this number with Detroit on the road because I feel like it's going to catch up to them. I kind of like the under there. Sorry, I was rambling during that. Bam. I strongly considered betting this too. Had my finger on the trigger. There was a 236. I was eyeing up. In fact, let's see what's available right now. $236 on Caesars. What's Pinnacle doing? Yeah, there's no reason to bet this now. Pinnacle had it at 235. It looks like it just moved up to 236. So I even if I was going to bet this, I don't think there's any reason to bet that tonight. Maybe look at it in the morning. Next. Boston, Utah. Kyle, what was your team total for Charlotte? What are you talking about? My team total? Oh, you mean in the game, the Oklahoma City game? Jordan, you smoking dust again, bro? I don't know what you're saying. Where are the fake sharps tonight? We're always searching for them. All right. Boston, Utah. This is okay. So this is all right. So I remember vividly. I looked at this one probably like 6 hours ago, and I remember it clearly because there's a lot of very interesting patterns in this one. In fact, I bet some of you are going to place the bet based on some of this. I personally couldn't get there. The bet I'm talking about is an under. Now, we have no Jaylen Brown. Let me look up the... see if there's been any updates to the injury report real quick. No Tillman. He doesn't really play. I'm assuming Torrey Craig probably gets the minutes for Jaylen Brown, right? Anyone familiar with Boston's rotation? Is that how they usually do it? Torrey Craig will probably play. On the Utah side, we got no Collins, no Markkanen. Kessler. Keontae George will play. Collier, Sexton, Clarkson. Taylor Hendricks is out for the year. KJ Martin's hurt. This guy's questionable. I don't think he's played the last couple of games, though, so I'm leaving him out. Cody Williams, this guy will play. He always plays. Filipowski will play. Sensabaugh will play. And let's put Potter in instead of marking him. So I'm about to show you a bunch of patterns that point towards an under here. But look at what the model is saying. It's got this shit at 245 points. So 244, according to this. This is freaking crazy, dude. So yeah, Utah's running the fastest pace in the NBA as well. So why the hell would I be considering an under? Well, on the Boston side, there's a million patterns pointing towards an under. Number one, we just talked about how Utah's the fastest pace in the NBA right now, right? They are sprinting. But what happens when Boston plays fast-paced teams? They slow them the hell down, and it's pretty substantial here. So look at this. This is the Celtics against pace, against the fastest teams in the NBA. The 5 fastest teams in the NBA, they're 3-10 to the under. Against the 10 fastest teams in the NBA, 11-16 to the under. It's actually when they play slow-paced teams, that's when it goes over the total a little bit. So Boston makes it a point when they play these fast-paced teams, slow the game down, and we just saw it. These two teams just played. The final score was like, what was it? It was low scoring. I'll tell you, it was 114-108. So it was a low scoring game. So when Boston plays fast-paced teams, they slow the game down. Now we got, this is weird too. Boston runs the slowest pace in the NBA. I wasn't even going to bring this up, but Utah against the slowest paces in the NBA, 8-1 against the spread. 8-1 against the spread against the bottom 5 pace, 15-8 against the spread. Nothing to do with what I was saying. I just thought it was interesting. Okay, even more weird here. So Utah, one of the worst teams in the NBA in terms of turnovers on both sides of the floor. They're dead last in turnover rate, dead last in forced turnover rate. They don't create turnovers. They can't protect the ball. Boston against these types of teams, and this is super thin, but it's interesting. Boston against these type of teams. So here's turnover rate. Here's forced turnover rate. Look at the bottom 5, bottom 10. Boston, 3-8 to the under. 10-15 to the under. 1-9 to the under. 3-16 to the under. Against bad turnover teams, it goes under the total a lot. That's a little thin, I know. Let's go. One second. There's another one too. 6-18 to the under against teams that don't use spot-up shooters. Super thin. Not even going to mention it. Okay, Jazz, they let you get a ton of three-point looks. The Celtics take a ton of three-point looks. That equals points, right? Teams that let you get a lot of three-point shots off, well, not in the Celtics case, it doesn't. Because against teams like that, the bottom 5, 1-9 to the under. The Jazz are 30th, 1-9 to the under. Against bottom 10, 4-16 to the under. So against teams that let you get a lot of three-point shots off, they actually go under the total. It's crazy. It almost defies logic. But there's a ton of patterns pointing towards an under bet here, but my shit's got it at 244 points. I'm good. It's an under, I guess, but I'm not betting this crap. Next. Denver, Portland. Someone just asked about this one. Someone asked about college. No guest tonight. It was just going to be Toast by himself. So we'll be live at 10 a.m. We're going to go live an hour early so we can go through a little slower. Okay. Nuggets, Blazers. I kind of like Denver here. Portland is now laying. This flipped. Nuggets opened up as short favorites. They Thing is, I don't really have a reason for liking Denver. I just think the line has gotten a little bit out of control here. Yes, there's no Jokic, by the way, if you're wondering why Portland's laying. There's no Jokic. Jamal Murray's questionable as well. I suppose I would need Jamal Murray in there to really pull the trigger on that. So what's up? Strother's hurt. Everyone else. No, he's not playing. Pickett plays. This guy plays. Yeah, that should be it. Simons, bam. Grant's out. Ayton's out. Thibel's playing now. Robert Williams is out. Playing. Walker's out. And then Reese plays. So even when I take Jokic out of the game, I still have Denver as favorites here. You'll see in a second when it loads. So I still have Denver -5. I actually made the game Denver -1 because there's some matchups here that are very favorable for Portland. Right now, Portland's playing great defense. They're 8th in defensive rating in the last 10 games. Betting Denver against good defenses has not been profitable at all. So Denver against good defenses is not good. They're missing Jokic, and they're playing a red-hot Portland defense. They're actually 5th in strength of schedule in the last 10 as well. So, yeah, I don't like the fact that I'm taking the Nuggets without their best player against a defense that's playing well. Right now, I don't like that. A couple of crazy trends to the over here. If you guys want to indulge against good offensive rebounding teams, 9-2 to the over. Against teams that turn the ball over a lot, 10-2 to the over, for those of you that are looking. But what I was looking at was right here. Denver, a team that needs to score on the interior, now missing Jokic, obviously a huge part of their offensive identity, and they're against a Portland defense that's been shutting shit down there. 4th in defensive efficiency in the paint. So, yeah, what I did was something like this. I don't remember exactly what I did. It was something like Portland good defense, and I did like -1. Then I said Portland paint defense. And then I think I had like Portland versus fast pace. They were like good against fast paced teams. I think I did something like that, which brings our overall. You know what? I have it right here. I could just go look at my notes. Yeah, that might be exactly where I had it because I had a Denver -1. I also kind of like the over, by the way. The reason I didn't bet that is because it's dropping. It's now down to 225, 225.5. It was at 228 before. I think it opened at 228. So I could see myself betting the over in this one, but there's no reason to bet it now. It's dropping. Man, if I wake up and this is like 223, might hit the over there. So I kind of like the Nuggets. Don't really have any good reasoning for it. Kind of like the over. Over probably be my bet in this one if I place a bet. UNC Wilmington is winning. We got that +9 something. All right, now we get to a bet that's baffling me. So the market seems to be against me. Yeah, the market is moving against me. This is one of my favorite bets that I have placed so far, and it seems like the market doesn't like it. You know what? This is probably my favorite bet that I have placed for tomorrow right here. I have Cleveland -7, and I hammered it as soon as it opened. I thought this was going to close closer to 10. Thought it was a great bet. I'm now seeing 6.5s pop up. I think this is an opportunity to get a great price on Cleveland. They've lost 3 games in a row, so maybe a little bit of a buy low spot. But really what I'm looking at is right here. I'll show you. We can pull this. We can do this in a second. I have it. I make the game Cleveland -10.5. By the way, we can do that in a second. But what I want to show you is right here. All right. Actually, first I want to show you something down here. Cleveland shooting. So what's going on with the Cavs? It's very simple. This is a 3-point shooting team that isn't hitting their 3-point shots. They've gone ice cold from outside. In the last 5 games, they're dead last. 30th in 3-point efficiency. In my opinion, if you're a Cavs fan, I'd say that's no reason to panic. 3-point shooting is very volatile. It happens. The shots don't fall sometimes. Like, I would be worried if it was something like turnovers or something like that, but the rebounding and turnover numbers are looking pretty mediocre like they were a week and a half ago. So it's the threes aren't falling for Cleveland. So that's bound to come back around. Threes, you go through cold shooting stretches. It happens. Especially against a Suns defense. I know they've been playing better defense as of late against the three-point line, but they give you a ton of looks. So right off the bat, I think the Suns perimeter defense is a good get-right spot for Cleveland. But really, what I'm looking at is right here. Check this out. What does Cleveland do a ton of offensively? Bam. Pick and roll. First in the NBA in frequency, third in efficiency, first in points per game. No NBA team scores more points per game out of the pick and roll than the Cleveland Cavs. Suns, 29th in defensive efficiency against the pick and roll, but it actually gets deeper than that. So we have the Cavs who run a ton of pick and rolls against the Suns defense that sucks against the pick and roll. Check this out. Look what happens when the Suns play teams that run the pick and roll. This is actually kind of crazy. Pick and roll, pick and roll. What the hell is it? Pick and roll. Here we go. Against the top 5 teams in the NBA in terms of pick and roll frequency. So the 5 teams that run the most pick and rolls in the NBA, 10-1 against the spread. 10-1 against the top 5 teams in pick and roll frequency. Top 10 teams in pick. So the 10 teams that run the most pick and rolls, 18-1 against the spread. So you got a Cavs. Cavs three-point shooting is bound to come around at some point. A bad Suns three-point defense that's been bad for most of the year. And you got the Cavs running pick and rolls against a defense that sucks against the pick and roll. Tell me this isn't a wake-up spot. But anyway, let's plug it in here. Cavs have everybody playing. Or at least they're supposed to. Suns, no Beal. I think there's a chance... Grayson Allen's going to sit as well. He's listed as questionable. Oh, Plumlee's been ruled out? That's a thing? No, Plumlee has been ruled out. I didn't even know that. So let's say Grayson Allen's going to play. We don't know if he is, but I'm going to leave him in. Meechis doesn't play. Does Monte Morris play for them? Did he ever get minutes? No, he hasn't seen the floor. Oh, this guy, Iguodaro, he's playing. So that's 10 players. So let's get rid of this. So just raw data, raw EPM data with the projected rotations on the court. We have this one at, when it's done loading, Cleveland minus 7.5. So just raw data, that's where the sports books have it, right? So if we were just going by raw data, this is a push. No value in placing a bet. But if we add Cleveland three-point shooting, like we expect the Cavs three-point shooting to bounce back, and we add Cleveland pick and roll, let's give them 1.5 for that matchup, then all of a sudden we're stumbling ourselves into some value when this thing loads. 1 point for the three-point shooting, and then it loads again for the pick and roll, and then all of a sudden we're looking at 10, or I had it at 10.5, so I must have added something else earlier, but just over 10. And obviously, the number is 7.5, and you have it at 10 at minus 110. You're looking at a nice chunk of change. So I'm on the Cavs. That being said, like I said, I mean, Pinnacle's at 6.5. ESPN bet, not that I give a shit where ESPN bet is, but they're at 6.5. Oh, okay. So oh, wow. Okay, that's a good sign. All right, I like that. So MGM earlier had dropped it to 6.5, but now they're back up at 7.5. So it looks like MGM dropped it on to 6.5. It got hammered on the Cleveland side. You like to see it. So yeah, I'm on the Cavs. Hopefully, when I wake up, this shit says 9. We'll see. Next up. Kyle on DK juiced Phoenix minus 7. I'm assuming you mean Cleveland minus 7. I mean, I'm in at 7. I think it's a good bet. As far as telling you what the line's going to do, I mean, I mean, theoretically, if usually I'm pretty good about beating the line movement, especially in the NBA, I think it's going to move up. But, I mean, we do have to take into consideration the Suns are 7-3 against the spread. in their last 10 games. They're at home catching a big number. The Cavs have lost 3 in a row. So maybe the market's kind of given up on Cleveland a little bit and going to buy back on Phoenix. I personally am saying I don't care about 3 games. I think 7. I mean, if you rewind a week and a half ago, Cleveland would have been laying, 10, 11 in this spot, and which is where I think it should be close to. So that's how I feel. Grizzlies Clippers. I got a bet in this one. I sniped this one too. Sniped it. Yeah, Logan says he's got the model at 12. Yeah, like I said, I just showed you. I have 10.5. I think I had it a little more. I'm kind of just like breezing through it. I had it a little bit higher than that earlier. When I figure out a better way to go through these like this. Like I have a page that has all my notes, and I'm kind of just like freestyling it here. All right. Do you do player props? I mean, I got them. Got some stuff. Players in isolation, transition, some stuff. Yeah, I mean, I got it all on here. I don't do much of it now. I mean, it's tough with the player props because I make these videos, and then sometimes you give one out and the number isn't even there an hour later, and you work on a video for 3 hours just to find out it's like not relevant. Anyway, Ja Morant's out, by the way. So Morant's out. Is Aldama back? Aldama's back. Bam, bam. Clark's out, right? Yeah. And Marcus Smart is out too. Where's his ass? Did I skip right over him? Oh my God, Marcus Smart's not on this team. Wow. That's embarrassing. So yeah, Lamar Stevens is out. Does G.G. Jackson play anymore? I don't think he plays. No, he doesn't play anymore. Conchar plays. Bagley, not really. Cam Spencer, he sees the floor. What is that at? That's 10. Yeah, that's good for now. Yeah. Clippers have everybody. You can just go right down the list. Everyone's playing for the Clips right now. Yeah, that's the Clippers 10 right there. So right off the bat, just raw data, we got this one where, as soon as it's loading, 6.5 for the Clippers. So even if you don't want to even look at the matchups, this opened up at oh, by the way, I have the Clippers at -5. That's my bet. Should have said that in the beginning. So even if you don't even want to look at the matchups, just raw data, if you saw a 5, grab it because it should be 6.5. There's actually some matchups I like here. First of all, the Clippers are playing very good basketball right now. In the last 10 games, this is a top 10 offensive team and defensive team. In the last 10 games, they're 3rd offensively, 10th defensively. So Clippers are playing some ball right now, and the Grizzlies have struggled with good teams all year. Look at Memphis against good teams. I mean, you can just see these two versus offense versus defense. Top half red, bottom half green. Against good offenses. I mean, against bad offenses, they're great. 7-3 against the spread against the bottom 5 offenses. 15-8 against the spread against the bottom 10 offenses. But against good offenses, 7-13-1 against the spread versus the top 10. 2-7-1 against the spread against the top 5. Same goes for, I don't have to keep repeating it, same goes for good defenses. You could see red. They struggle against good defenses. They cover against bad defenses. So the fact that the Clippers are playing elite basketball right now, not good. If you plan on backing Memphis. There was another matchup I liked here. You know what? Let me see if I have my notes open. One sec. Clippers. Yeah. I also liked how, so one of the strengths of this Memphis team is offensive rebounding. And that dates back to last year, too. If we go to rebounds, actually weirdly falling off in the last 5 games, but that's a small sample size. On the season, they're 2nd in the NBA in offensive rebounding rate. This is a team that grabs a lot of offensive rebounds, the Grizzlies. So I wanted to look, how do the Clippers play against these strong offensive rebounding teams? And weirdly, they're much more profitable against teams that rely on offensive rebounds because the Clippers are a team that's great on the defensive glass. So the Clippers are a team that doesn't let you grab those offensive rebounds. And if you look at the Clippers against offensive rebounding teams, you can see against teams that aren't reliant on offensive rebounds, they have actually not covered against. But against teams that are better offensive rebounding teams, they're more profitable. That was something. I also liked, where was it? Damn, I'm so unorganized. I'm sorry. There was another thing I liked, but basically where I had this one was here. I had Memphis versus good teams, right? And I took a point off, and I gave a point to the Clips. And then I put offensive rebounds where I put I took a quarter point off each side, I think. I did something like that is how I capped it. Whoa. Which, when it's done loading, brings us to Clippers -9, which is, I hammered the Clippers at -5. This might be a little extreme. So I would probably make the game, let's say, 8.5. So if you haven't bet it, I'd still play it at 6.5. I'd play it up to 7. Anything 7 or below. So, yeah, sorry for the sorry that was so unorganized. I'll figure out a way to, like, rip through that quicker and smoother. I can even imagine what that looked like. That was probably painful. Someone said, how much should we really factor Ja's absence when they are used to playing without him? I mean, he hasn't missed that many games. Hold on. Let's look. Looks like these aren't updated, but no, Morant hasn't missed that, and he missed these two. March 1st to March 3rd. He missed February 12th. I mean, he missed a couple. He's been in out there. He missed this one. I guess I guess over the course of the season he's missed a good amount. Oh, you know what? Let's see how. Okay, let's do a quick game. How the Grizzlies without Ja. So 60 and 61. We got 48, 49, 54. We got 25, 29, 33 through 37. All right, I just pulled up the last 12 games for the Grizzlies without Ja Morant. Wait till it loads. What does it give us? 5 and 7 against the spread, 6 and 6 straight up. Defense, 116.8 defensive rating. Last 12 games without Morant. One sec. So, yeah, 116.8 defensive rating. Last 12 games without Morant. That's pretty terrible. Specifically, true shoot. I mean, 38.79% opponent three-point shooting, which is weird because I thought the Grizzlies without Morant play better defense. That's the perception. Defense has been bad. So, yeah, someone just said he missed 21 games. It doesn't feel like that many. I guess just like a lot of them were in the beginning of the season. I mean, if you look at here's the beginning of the season. Here's 1. Then here's like 10 right here. And then you got 1, 2, a big chunk here. So you say, all right, he missed 21 games. Well, if you go back to January 6th, since then he's only missed like 6. So I feel like just because it was so long ago, maybe that's why it doesn't seem to be that. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm in VIP. I was looking for your prediction team totals. Actually, I'm going to figure out a way because right now, if for those of you that are on the Sauce Network app and subscribe to the site, so this is what you see, by the way. So Prop Beaver goes and he checks the boxes for the projected rotation. That's what he does every morning. He doesn't have these though. So what you'll see is when it loads. So what you guys see in the Sauce Network app and on the website, if you go to the members page, you're seeing, when it loads, you're seeing this, which is just the raw data. And it doesn't have like I go in and adjust it to what I think because you just go by the raw data. I mean, pretty much every line is going to be right where the sports books have it. The adjustments is where you can find some value. And so this is what you're seeing on the app. So I got to figure out a way to after I adjusted for it to show so you guys can see it. The problem is they change so frequently because then it's like Jokic is out. So then like, oh, I got to take this off. I no longer think they have an edge in the paint. Like it's always changing as the day goes on. So it's like crazy to try to keep that updated. I thought until I figure out how to get it to run it a little smoother, the smartest way would be just give you guys the raw data for now so you have something. But yeah, I got to figure out a way to, because I'll add. And for these, I was just doing 1 or 2. Well, I'll show you. This is like what a completed one when I'm doing it on my own. Actually, you guys will probably find this interesting. So here, like this is what I hear. Here's the Magic Wizards one because I like the under. Remember, if you guys were here earlier, this is what I have for that one. So this is like when I do it on my own. That's like what the finished product will look like right there. Like I use all those spaces, and sometimes I go down here, like I go deep and like adjust it for every little thing I think could have an impact on the game. See, like there's I'm adding and removing quarter points. It's not, so that's what it looks. So we were just kind of doing a breeze through for the video, but this is boring. All right, thanks everyone for watching. See you all 10 a.m. for March Madness. Did I get my Lakers? Wilmington's done. Did I get my Lakers under? Give me a 4-1 night. Yep, got my Lakers under. 4-1 night. Thanks, guys. See you all 10 a.m. Eastern time. Later.